Hi, everybody. DJ Yoakley with you for another Coach's Corner for the United Golden Eagles. And as always, we are joined by Chris Kadvan. CK, how are you, brother?
Doing very well. How's the holiday season for you, DJ, you and your family?
It was great. Santa Claus treated us nicely. How about yourself?
Same here. This is the first holiday that our daughter was super excited about Santa, so that was very fun to see. She calls Santa Ho Ho, so she was very excited to see Ho Ho and the gifts that she got.
Hey, that was the same in our house. So maybe he's getting some new lingo since the old St. Nick. So
Yep.
let's talk about the team so far, man. It's been a tough battle, but you guys have been in every game. What are the challenges when you sit down and you look at this film? Head scratching, things that you want to do. I know you're an overly positive guy, and I'm really excited about how you're kind of going to put this together and tell me how you guys continue to just this close, Chris.
It is. I mean, it's frustrating on one side, but it's also comforting to see the growth as well. I mean, you guys broadcast, and you were there for, I guess, when we played East Palestine. That was a battle. And it comes down to being 4 quarters. So, it was just honesty. When we watched the film on that, it was a learning experience that, hey, the first and third quarter, we played United basketball. We played hard. We took care of the ball. We had 2 quarters where we had a lot of mental breakdowns. And you know what? We watched those mental breakdowns because how else are you going to learn from it? By just talking about it and say, hey, we can't do these things. In order to win a basketball game, you can't catch the ball and the ball just goes out of bounds. You can't just, dribble off your knees, or hey, all along what we were doing against the press was working, then all of a sudden, hey, let's try something different, and what do you know, we turned the ball over.
Yeah.
So it was, it's great that the kids were accountable, that they said, hey, I don't know why I did that there, all along this is working against the press. So yeah, and really that East Palestine game was the closest game that we were in, and it came down to just learning how to understand win a basketball game and how else to learn from it by instead of watching film and just, hey, being honest in the film room.
I think the exciting thing for me and watching your student athletes rally around you, they believe in what you're bringing to the table, your coaching staff brings to the table. They're not turned away by the 0-8 record. They feel challenged. They feel that this isn't the end of the road. And obviously having no seniors, it's one of those opportunities where they can use every bit of this year to build for next year. Do you feel the same way?
I fully believe in this team, and I know it's gonna switch. It's gonna turn and everything. And it definitely has been growing pains. But the main thing is, the kids picked the motto for this year. Every year we have a different saying, and that's the kids. They come up with it on their own. And the motto for this year is stay hungry. We got to stay hungry. And, they're hungry for that first victory. Our JV team put together 4 quarters and got a victory. And 4 quarters win a basketball game. And, so just, they are very positive. They know it's there. I told them, it's like we're going to the door. We have everything we need, but we don't have the key to put in the door. And it's just figuring out that key. I'm big on analogies and everything. And so we got to find out what's the right key. And it's playing 4 quarters, take care of the basketball, and continue to do the things that worked in order to get us to the point that, hey, we got a lead, and how to carry on and finish it in the 4th quarter.
Well, that's a good analogy, but let me ask you this. Is there somebody on your team that's ready to kick down that door instead of finding a key?
I don't know if necessarily kick down the door, but if anything, we have more players stepping up that are being that extra coach. Because, early on, it's tougher to take on, you and I are both teenagers and saying, hey, I didn't really take on a leadership role until I was a senior. And so, we don't have any seniors. And so a lot of those are juniors or were asked to be in the leadership role. So I'm not necessarily ready to kick down the door. It's just saying, hey, listen, we have a lot of juniors helping our freshmen and our sophomores. Hey, listen, hey, do this differently, or hey, throw the pass here. And so that's been very, very refreshing because all along I said, I always say I can talk until I'm blue in the face, but until you guys start doing those things and we have that leader step up and that extra player coach on the court, that's what's going to help us.
And I think one of the biggest things is you're starting to see a breakout out of one of your juniors. We talk about Nate Miller. When you look at the roster, this young man is the highlight, right? He's 6'7", listed on the roster. He's a guy that he can break down doors down low if his aggression allows him to. How has he progressed during the year, especially this year over last? And what is the ceiling on this young man? Because I think he could be one of the great ones at United.
I know he can be, and that's the biggest thing is him early on. He was a JV player last year, so early on he went through the struggles that hey, he was bigger than everyone playing JV. So he had a good JV season last year, and varsity basketball is completely different than JV. So in December he had a little bit of a struggles. He was having a hard time finishing around the rim. And it really comes down to Nate being confident, but also understanding how good he could be, like you said. And we talked about, like, Nate, you realize how good you can be. He's very skilled around the rim. Him and Stephanie, everyone can say, okay, well, they're big. The term's big and stuff. But my approach is always saying, well, how good – you got to realize how good you actually are around the rim. Yes, everyone knows that you're 6'7", and you're this big, but you're actually pretty skilled and athletic around the rim. Let's play into those strengths. And he's had, to start the year off, we kind of came into the approach that 2020s, a New Year's resolution. Hey, new year, new team. Let's start fresh. December was a rough month with injuries and the flu bug. Nate started off the year against East Canton, 15-15, and East Palestine, he was 22-19. So that was a great start for him. And it's all because he played within his strengths around the rim, playing some defense, getting those rebounds. And it comes down to just having that effort. That's what we're big on is effort, and his effort has definitely been translating into the varsity games.
Size isn't necessarily a problem for you guys at this point. What the issue is putting the ball in the basket at this point. Do you think if you're able to connect the dots and the bigs start playing like bigs and playing to their ability, does this thing turn around quick, fast, and in a hurry, or what are you thinking, Chris?
I like I said earlier, I fully believe in this team, and I know that it's going to turn around. We need to get that first victory. Once that first victory, and hey, we understand how to win the games. I think we can roll it off. We only played 8 games. We still got 14 more games left in the season, so we still have a lot of basketball left. And one more other thing about Nate, too, is it's kind of an interesting fact is when I first got hired, I should have mentioned this earlier, but when I first got hired, I'm a third grade teacher here at United. Nate Miller was in my class. So he's the first class that I had. So, every year it's funny. He always came back to visit me when we had open house, and he says, Coach, I'm going to be taller than you. I'm going to be taller than you. So it was actually his freshman year when it was the first time he actually got taller than me, and now I just keep looking up to him.
I guess the question is, how tall was he in third grade? Was he like 5'7", or
he may have done a little extra stretching. Say, Nate, you're gonna keep growing when you get older. So,
no, that's awesome. That's a great story. You've known the young man for a long time. What's his character like? What's he like off the court?
Nate's a great kid. He enjoys and has fun. When he's playing, he's a fun kid to be around. But the main thing is that just understanding, like I said, understanding his ability, and sometimes he's his own worst enemy that gets down on himself. I've seen, he's a junior now, so I've seen a lot of maturity from him. Early on his freshman year, sophomore year, hands would go into the head and everything. And my big thing is next play. You got to have that next play mentality, especially in basketball. Basketball is such a fast-paced game that you can't let one possession carry over into the next and next and next. And so he's definitely matured as far as an individual and a basketball player.
And what's his biggest strength? You as a teacher, you as a coach, these kids inside and out. What's his biggest strength that he brings to not only the basketball court, but to life?
His biggest strength, I would say, is his positive attitude. He's always very positive, and he's got to the point where he doesn't let those things carry over to him. And if something does go bad and everything, and he's starting to kind of take over more of a leadership role and helping out with those younger guys, the post players and stuff. So him just having that positive attitude is definitely a strength of his.
Coach, let's get to back to the hardwood real quick, where we talk about your upcoming schedule. You play Heartland tomorrow. That's a game that seemingly Heartland always gives problems to EOAC opponents. Talk about their strengths, their weaknesses, and how you're going to attack them.
Well, Heartland actually, I have a connection with Heartland because before I got hired at United, I was the girls coach there for 1 year. So Susie Shields was great. She was awesome for giving me that opportunity and developed a lot of good relationships there. And Coach Scott's a great coach. Him and I always keep in contact. He's done a great job there. It's going to be a battle going there. They got some seniors. Roth is one of the better shooters I would say in the county. And he's pretty good. And they got Matthews down low, big body, another senior who understands how to play to his strengths and how to get other players involved. He's posting up, and if someone doubles him or he kicks it out to a wide open three. But he's also one that could stretch the floor and hit it from the outside, so he can play inside out. So that's haven't had that matchup, and so we just know that it's going to be a battle. They're going to, Josh always is a man team, and we know they're going to get after it defensively. They're going to run their stuff. It's just got to be ready to play for 4 quarters.
And then you turn your attention to Letonia. We don't want to get you too far ahead of your game plan, but this is a team. I mean, EOAC, there's no secrets. You guys know each other left, right, up, and down. So, what do you expect from the Bears when you face off against them?
I expect them to just get after it defensively. That's Dan Dennis's mentality. He's play hard defensively. They got a lot of guards. I expect them to play hard, get after it. The Davis kid for them is a pretty nice scorer. He's a good player. I think he's only a junior. So it's, stopping him also and be ready to compete.
And then finally, we wanted to talk about some of the stuff you did over Christmas break. Really cool stuff, neat opportunities for the boys. What were some of the things you guys did?
Well, over Christmas breaks, like I said, we played against Neshannock. I think it was the 21st or 22nd. We didn't play again until January 2nd. So we knew we had that nice gap there. And over Christmas break, I always do a team event. And really, I think as a team, we grew a ton. And, it started with a team event that we had where we went and we practiced with Valley Christian. You allowed 5 scrimmages, so we only had 4 scrimmages. So if you practice with another team, it counts as a scrimmage. So we had our 5th scrimmage. So we went to Valley Christian. We practiced with them in scrimmage, which was very beneficial because our biggest weakness is teams pressing us, and they pressed us. I was very happy with the way we competed, both JV and varsity. We went and had lunch together at McDonald's. All the kids were happy about that. Then we went to Extreme Air in Boardman, which was a great team event where we got to play laser tag. The kids got to jump on trampolines, play dodgeball, and the laser tag's always fun. And we divided up into 3 teams. And yes, my team won. Trenton Menga was my first pick. He was the MVP for us. So that was a great team event. And also, during Christmas break, we've had a lot of my former players come in, and it's just so refreshing because it's really nice that I'm all about relationships that we've talked about and everything, and so we created kind of a brotherhood that those guys that come in, they want us to be successful because hey, they know what it takes to be successful, and they kind of built this program with us, and so having them come in and talk to our players and kind of basically reiterate the same things that we're telling them, but it's coming from a player. Caden Smith, 1,000-point scorer, Jay Clark, 1,000, our all-time leading scorer, Landon Baker, a high-effort guy, a great leader, a great kid, Nick Rhodes, Dakota Hill, a lot of great kids that were just very positive and kind of reiterating the things that we've talked about, but also kind of challenging the players that, hey, someone needs to step up and be a leader. And you know what, Keaton Baker's really take that on as a leader and understanding that and kind of rose to the challenge. Then also we had a guest speaker come in named Joe Level. He is a barber over in Struthers, the Fresh Experience. And Joe's story is just great. The things that he's done, and I knew that he'd be a very positive, motivational guy to come in. And that was just, he did a team building event with the team, which was great. And he kind of just talked about his story, that there's opportunities and hardship, and we have some hardship right now, and so there's a lot of ways to relate his story and his journey to what we're doing. So that was a very productive Christmas break, and starting the year off, and we're ready to roll.
Coach, we're looking forward to seeing how you match up against Heartland and of course Letonia. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for your time and good luck this week.
All right, go Eagles.